March 10th, operating business meeting of the Board of Trustees of the San Bernardino Community College District. So I'm going to ask Trustee Williams if he would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right.
Thank you.
Join me in the pledge. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will now proceed to public comment on the agenda and non-agenda items. I'm assuming I have some comments. The San Bernardino Community College Board of Trustees offers an opportunity for the public to address the board on any agenda item prior to or during the board's consideration of that item. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes per speaker and 20 minutes per topic. If there's more than one speaker, at the conclusion of public comment, the board may ask staff to review a matter or may ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. As a matter of law, members of the board may not discuss or take action on matters raised during public comment unless the matters are properly noticed for discussion or action in open session. Anyone who requires a disability-related modification or accommodation in order to participate in the public meeting should contact the Chancellor's office as far in advance of the board meeting as possible. And I am assuming that I have some public comments. Thank you. Mary Valdemar.
Hi, I'm Mary Valdemar. I'm an alumni resident here in the region and employee in the SBCCD library, a member of the CSEA Classified Union and Latino faculty and staff and a lot of other organizations. I just wanted to make a comment about access to the board and the data that is given to the board by the district and information that is in the board packet. We requested to do a presentation today, and for the first time in my 20 years here, we were refused to be on the agenda for a presentation and told that it would be at a future date. And to my memory, that has never happened before. Even in the most controversial and difficult times, we've always been allowed to come and do a presentation to the board and give the information that we have to make sure that it aligns with the information that you have. And this is particularly critical when we're talking about budget shortfalls and making decisions for the future, based on data that we don't always have access to. And so I just wanted to really lift that up and point out that the time of this meeting is very challenging for our employees to be able to participate and communicate with the board. And we do have that right, not just as employees, but also as taxpayers in this district who care about our community college district, our community colleges, and the community at large. So I'm asking folks to please look at that and do better. Help us be able to get the same information that you get, the same data that you get. Help us be able to present to the board the data we have so we can see where it doesn't align with the data that you're getting. Thank you.
Cassandra Thomas.
Good afternoon. Mary spoke on exactly what I wanted to speak about today. We were denied the opportunity to present to you. We would like to have a dialogue where you could ask questions, and you apparently do not want to ask us questions or have that dialogue with us. That is the message that the board sent me and our membership, that you do not want to talk to us about these things. So I would hope that that's not the message you want to send to us, and that you actually do value a conversation with us. Now, what I was told is that there is an issue with you not wanting us to have this dialogue with you because you feel that it's bargaining. So I want to explain something to you. When we sit at the table, we negotiate with Christina. When Christina gives us an offer, when she discusses with us and says that she cannot give us an offer because she's waiting on you to make a decision, then I need to come to you. If I'm wrong. So she, at this point, cannot give us an offer until she got guidance from you, okay? I sat through a board presentation on the 24th in which Jose presented a less than rosy projection of our FTES in the future and our funding. And I wanted to share with you some of the findings that we have where we see holes in our budget. So that's what we're presenting to you today during my presentation. But I wasn't going to do public comment, but I feel that I must. I don't understand why this board insists on meeting at 4 p.m. for this meeting. When I first, 13 years ago, when I became a worker at this district, your guys' meeting was at 5 p.m. So somebody who gets off at 4:30 can travel to the district to attend the meeting, to be a part of the dialogue, to be a part of this discussion. I don't know why you guys changed it. Years ago, it was 5 p.m. is when the normal meeting started. 4 p.m. is when closed session occurred. So you did closed session first, and then you opened up to the public when the public and the constituencies, the people who work for the district that you are representing, could be here. And I think that's very important. And that is the disconnect that we have right now. I have so many people who couldn't make it. So many people. We have people who were denied the ability to come because they have work to do right now. And we all have our jobs to do. But we also need to speak to you. And you need to listen to us. So we do have one member who was unable, and I think I have enough time to say what she was going to say. Very wonderful young woman, the daughter of one of the professors here at Valley College, very involved, very sweet, very kind, and wanted to give you a very nice thing to say. So I'm going to say this thing for you that she was denied to be able to say to you. If you step into our campuses, you can feel the tension. Classified staff are scared. We are experiencing rapid change. This week alone, we experienced gas prices go up $1.30 a gallon. Additionally, rent, food, and other basic needs have skyrocketed almost overnight. As classified staff, we are starting to have to evaluate how we will be able to afford basic necessities as inflation robs us of our sense of financial security. We should not have to make choices of filling up our gas tanks to get to work or feeding our families. I'm grateful for the work that the district that prioritizes the well-being and development of its classified staff, a district that has prioritized our physical and emotional well-being during a global pandemic. But we are currently facing a different beast than we were 2 years ago. We are facing a beast that is dwindling our savings and hopes. We are asking our compassionate district to understand what the issues that classified employees are currently going through and pivot with the times, as we all had to do at the beginning of this pandemic. While we very much appreciate professional development, self-care workshops, and kudos, it will not solve our current issues. The only solution is making sure classified staff have a livable wage in order to provide the most basic necessities for our families. And that was on behalf of one of our members who could not make it today because she's working. We also have another member who wanted to come and support us. She cannot afford the gas to come down here. Real stuff. Just wanted you to know. Thank you.
Vivian Marquez.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity to speak about COLA. I was looking at, I love National Public Radio. I listen to it every morning when I drive to work. I also look at the website, and I printed out an article regarding the cost of living, that annual inflation climbed to a new 4-decade high in February, reaching alarming levels even before Russian troops moved into the Ukraine. And it's my understanding that what's being conveyed is that for the 2025-2026 fiscal year, that we might be $8 million in the red. However, I found that really odd because almost every community college has provided their classified personnel cost of living. And they have also suffered from the same FTES loss of numbers that we have. Which I found, it doesn't make sense that $8 million, it doesn't make sense that we would be $8 million in the red in 2025, 2026, when other campuses have experienced the same loss of FTES as we have. However, their classified personnel have been permitted to have a cost of living increase. Also, in addition, our custodians and our maintenance and groundkeepers were required to come to this campus during the pandemic lockdown. They have been working hard to make sure our campus is clean, our campus is physically healthy, but they have not been permitted to have a cost of living increase. They are some of the most lowest paid personnel here on this campus, but they work so hard. I hope you will consider their plight. I will hope you will consider our plight, that we would like to have a decent cost of living increase, as other employees in other community colleges have also been allowed to have. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me to speak. Thank you so much. This is such a such a important aspect of our freedoms. And every time I look at the news and see what Russia is doing to the Ukraine, I value that so much more. Thank you.
Barbara Nichols?
Good afternoon. My name is Barbara, and I've worked for SBCCD for a while. I stand up here and I want to speak on behalf of our CSEA Chapter 291, our brothers and sisters that are here and that cannot be here. The district was given a 5% cost of living adjustment apportionment, and the right thing to do for the district would be to distribute that 5% COLA to those it was intended for. A very wise man once said, "Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due when it is in your power to do it." The district has the power to do good. Give the classified staff the fair wage increase, the COLA that they deserve. And I challenge you to do the right thing, to distribute the COLA to those it was intended for. Do not withhold good from those to whom it is due. Thank you.
Do we have any more flips? That's it. Thank you. The next item is the approval of minutes, and we have two minutes, two sessions that we have to approve. Could I have a motion, please?
I move approval of the minutes from the 24th, 25th, and the
Okay.
10th.
Where's your mic?
So move.
Okay, and I have a second? Second, thank you. Is there any discussion, any questions, any amendments? None? All right, then I will call for the vote. Student trustee? Aye. Aye, okay. Board members?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so approved. We now ask the staff to display the applause cards on the screen and to recognize the list of applause recipients. And you can see them on your screen. Thank you, and thank you for your service. We also now have one of the things that I really enjoy, having been an employee of this district at one time, and having spent many, many years on this campus and also at Crafton. The anniversary recognition. Sometimes we forget that we have had people working for us for many, many years. I won't tell you how many I worked, because there isn't an award big enough for that. But could we have them on the board? And I call on the Chancellor to highlight the employees with 20 years plus of service. And
Thank
then
you.
the rest will be put on the screen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you're scrolling through, I just wanted to share a few highlights of some of our employees that have served us over 20 years. First one is James Stewart, 42 years with the
Yay.
district. You know, SBVC is just one of the handful of community colleges in Southern California that offers a comprehensive glass program. And some of his students have gone on to study glasswork at some of the finest institutions around the globe, including Murano, Italy. And they have even opened their own studios and worked at places like the Museum of Glass in Tacoma, which is one of the museums with the highest standards for glass art and technologies. Next, we have Virginia Diggle, 32 years with the district. And absolutely. Yeah. Virginia shared with us, which I thought was kind of a unique story, in that she still has her original typewriter from 1990. Her original typewriter.
Computer?
Like, using it still?
She still has it. I don't know that she's gonna be able to find a repair person for it, but she still has it.
I think that's okay.
And you know, in 1990, Virginia worked with the evening college to serve all of our students, the adjunct faculty, and so on. And at that time, and I think this is just impressive, right, hand-typed every evening faculty's contract and timesheet from scratch.
Wow.
So dedication. So we thank Virginia for her work here.
Since like 1974.
Tina Gimbel, 25 years.
Yay.
So Tina has an incredible story when she began her journey at Crafton Hills College. And part of that is that she was a first-time student with our district, a first-time student. So she represents probably the majority of the students that we serve today. And her dedication in serving students in our campus hasn't waned. Right? She remembers being the first-time student and what it was like and the services that she appreciated, and she is now paying that forward. So thank you, Ms. Gimbel, for all of your long hours of support. Shalita Tillman, 21 years. You know, Shalita has worked within our district since 2000, 21 years. Her efforts have resulted in partnerships with IEHP, who has sponsored family movie night series most recently, along with her other colleagues from Crafton Hills, secured funding to hire 4 SBVC students to serve as community health ambassadors, right, to help educate the campus community about reducing the spread of COVID-19. And that is just one of the many, many, many initiatives that Shalita has led over her past 21 years. So thank you, Ms. Tillman. Thank you. Next, we have Julie Yola, 20 years with the district. I'm sorry, you are correct. So, Julie,
Okay, 20.
Julie, one of the things that I admire about Julie is that she is constantly uplifting other individuals and giving credit to others for her success, even though she has been such an inspiration to many, many students over the years. You know, she mentions people like Virginia Martinez, June Yamamoto, Anita Moore, Karina Barber, Gina Ochoa, for some of the credit for her success. And I think that just speaks volumes to her character, to uplift others. So those are our individuals that have worked with our district for 20 years plus, and I think we should just give them one more really loud Round of applause. Thank you.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I read it very carefully, and the only other person that I think that had been here longer was Gloria. But I remember James Stewart. He actually worked here and worked at Cal State San Bernardino when I was in the Upper Bound program teaching with Dr. Rivera. Virginia, I remember her when she first started working at an evening college with Al Strumble and myself. And so all these people, I think that we're so proud of the great commitment and dedications that they have. And I just hope that our future employees have that same dedication so that we can make this college district what it is, which is a very good place to develop a professionalism. Because I remember James wasn't even, I think he has now he can teach at a university, but when he first started here, he wasn't. But 42 years, it's just amazing. So I'm very proud to say that these people are so dedicated to our college district. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think the next item on the agenda is the election to the 2022 CCCT Board. You have in your agenda the candidates. There are 13, and we are to vote for 6. So if I'm at this point, I'm accepting nominations. So trustee,
I'd like to nominate, I'm just going to do by number 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 12.
How many is that?
That's 6.
And we get how many?
6.
Oh, okay.
I second the nomination.
What do you press?
It's
The numbers that she read off were 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, and 12.
Yes.
I support 5 and 12.
So we have 6 that have been nominated. Is there any other nomination? Are there any other nominations?
I wanted to put number 11.
11?
Madam Chair, you had a first and a second.
What?
I believe you had a first and a second to,
I'm sorry, okay.
you had a first.
Dr.
and a
Gonzalez
second.
seconded.
I have a first and a
You have a first
second
and a
on
second
on
for
the
the-
original motion.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Bill Diedrich, District Legal Counsel. Based on that, you'll need to discuss the 6 names, and then there'll need to be some sort of action. And then you can consider other names unless a trustee would accept a friendly amendment to their motion.
Okay, okay. So at this point,
And I can yield on number 11, if that makes it easier.
okay, so we have a yield, but there's no discussion then. Any other discussion? If not, I will ask for the vote. We do not have to take a roll call vote on this, do we?
No, Madam Chair, you do not.
All right. So, student trustee, please.
Aye.
Aye. Trustees?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any objections? None? Okay.
I have
Oh.
a question. I had it
No,
written
no,
down.
no. Well, any objections?
No, no.
No, okay, then it's passed. And we congratulate the 6 people that we are voting for. Hopefully, they'll win. We will find out later. Then we have board policies on action agenda. We're asking for a motion and a second before we can have any discussion on this one.
So moved.
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, Chancellor, just looking at the document, just about my question, I can't see where the section that is referenced, though, in the change. Section And I'm looking at page 1 of 11, and I know that they were gonna reference the section code 70902, but in the document, I just don't see where it's referenced. Because it's being stricken, but I don't see where it's referenced in the reference area, so can we just make sure it's included? Unless I'm just missing it.
Yes, it's referenced, excuse me, on page two of 2 of,
2 of 2?
yeah, of Board Policy 2410.
Okay,
You'll see reference Education Code 70902, along with the ACC-JC standards that it refers to.
On page 2 of what?
On the
22.
second page of that Board
2 of
Policy.
11?
2 of 11.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
looking
see
at
it.
the hard copy.
Oh, yeah, I don't see it in ours. Or on the digital copy. See? So this. Oh, okay, so that's page 10 of 11. Oh, 10 of 11, okay.
And it's also on the Board Policy, second page as well.
Okay, so 10 of 11, okay. Okay, thank you.
right? Any other questions? No? Then we have a motion and a second on the first read. I'm calling for the,
Madam Chair, there's no action necessary because it is a first read.
okay. Then why did I get notes that say call for a vote? Come on, guys. All right, then that is for the first read. Then, item C, establish an investment account for FCC auction proceeds allocated to DSO. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, okay. Any discussion? If you'll remember on this, we had talked about this in the Finance Committee. It was money that was already allocated, but we had not established a line item for it. No discussion? All right, then we'll take the vote. Student trustee?
Aye.
Okay. Trustees?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? None. Okay. D, guiding principles for the FCC auction proceeds. Again, a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Discussion. Any questions? Any clarifications? None? All right. Student trustee?
Aye.
Trustees?
Aye.
Aye, okay. No objections, no abstentions? All right, passes. The San Bernardino Community College District Mission, Vision, Values, and Goals. Again, I call for a motion and a second.
So moved.
So, second.
Okay. Any discussion, any clarification? All right, none. Student trustee?
Aye.
Trustees?
Aye.
Any objections or abstentions? None. Okay. Endorsement, the nomination of the 2022 Classified Employee of the Year.
This one had an amendment.
You moved?
No, I said, I believe this one had an amendment that's not in the packet. Am I incorrect?
And I need to abstain.
Madam Chair, at the time the agenda was posted, I don't believe we had the name of the classified employee. And so what we can do is verbally update who the employee was, and then whatever motion is taken should include that employee's name,
Okay.
so that it's clear from the
All right.
record. Thank you.
Would somebody give us the name, please? Madam
It's in
Chancellor?
Govenda. It's an amendment in Govenda.
Jose Olmos?
I don't see it.
What?
Jose Olmos.
Oh, okay.
Jose,
Jose.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear.
Jose Almos.
Jose, oh, Jose Olmos.
Yes.
Olmos, okay, good. So we have a motion and a second.
okay, yeah.
Okay. Any questions, asking for clarification? None? Student trustee? Trustees?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
And
it's
and
passed.
I need to abstain.
You need to abstain?
Mhm.
Okay,
Board members are not allowed to nominate.
Oh.
okay. Thank you. So we have one abstention? Okay. On the consent agenda, at this one, it's expected to be routine and non-controversial. It'll be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any member of the board, staff member, or citizen may request that an item be removed from this section for discussion.
I want to pull item C2.
C2, okay. Board members, anybody else? No? Then I'd like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Okay. Second? Okay. All those in, student trustee? Aye. Aye. Trustees?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then let's go to the item that we pulled, 6C2, and that was pulled by trustee Williams.
Yeah, and I just need to abstain from the item. My employer is part of the item.
Okay,
Madam Chair, I will also need to abstain.
okay. So I have two abstentions,
Does that give us a
both for the
quorum?
same reason? Okay, all right.
Do we have a quorum?
So that's all the abstentions I have, two. Okay. So with those abstentions, let's go on with the vote. Student trustee? Aye. Trustees?
Aye.
Aye. And we noted that we have two abstentions?
Did we note a second, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Okay, excellent, I didn't hear it myself.
We didn't get a second.
I thought I had a,
We had Dr. Gonzalez made the first motion, and now we need a second.
oh, I'm sorry, I thought I had a second. Okay. Was somebody second?
I'll
Okay,
second.
thank you. So it's passed.
Do we need to retake the vote?
Do I have to take the vote again? No, yeah. Not now, okay, good.
Reports.
So now we'll,
So we're in the section of reports, board committee reports,
I don't have a committee report, but I have a report.
all right?
I just wanted to share some information. I got a chance to participate in a call today and found out that every workforce development area region will receive an allocation from the California Workforce Development Board, $21 million of Regional Equity Recovery Project fund. And the funds, and there'll also be an additional allocation from the State Chancellor's Office of $10 million to help the local workforce boards better align their enrollment activities with community colleges. And so the workforce boards will pay for items like books, they'll pay for other related items to help with increasing enrollment for students. Several years ago, Trustee Singer had an idea to have us meet with K-12 boards, and just wanted to see if there's interest in our board meeting with the local workforce board and just really talking about how, we can align and work together and just find out more what the board's priorities are, how they're gonna use these funds. And so just wanted to introduce that and just see if there was any interest. And I wasn't gonna make any other comments today, but in just thinking about, I wanted to just, give our Chancellor kudos for, I just really appreciate your responsiveness and the changes that I've seen in leadership and in the cabinet and then in our board leadership. And I do want us to think about how the board is perceived in terms of how we communicate with the public, with our stakeholders, and look at ways that we can identify best practices that we might not be, because we made a lot of improvements in how the meetings are run and how we respond to the public and given multiple opportunities to have time for public comment. we've moved our closed session to the end of the meeting so that we weren't allowing having people to have to wait. But if there's something that we're missing, would just like for us to just have that opportunity to just see if we're missing anything, if there's ways that we can better communicate, because the way that our meetings are structured, we can't respond to certain things, and so it makes us kind of look like, duh, and I know the hearts of the people that are sitting up here, and it's not like how it's perceived, and so if there is an opportunity for us to really look at how the board communicates and what we can do better or different, I'd like us to have an opportunity to do that. Thank you.
I really like your idea of meeting with the workforce board, and I think we can arrange that. And there is some money that we need to look at, and certainly we can use every bit of money we can obtain one way or another. That was for the Finance Committee, the Legislative Committee. I know that you did not have a meeting.
Yeah, we didn't have a meeting, but we're always working. I had an opportunity to meet with people from Washington DC. They actually came to visit me a couple of days ago. Can you hear me? It's better?
Yes.
It's better? And we had an opportunity to converse with our Chancellor. There will be some opportunities in regards to energy efficiency grants, and I want to make sure that we communicate with our grant writers to make sure that they're on top of things. Golden opportunity. And actually even on the workforce development, Joseph, we also have an opportunity to have a conversation with people in Washington, D.C. as well. I had an opportunity to meet with the young lady who's the Assistant Secretary for EDA that we received grants from, and they're willing to possibly consider that. And because of the success that we've had, she may be willing to visit at the appropriate time, because right now they're still not out visiting campuses, but I think that this is a golden opportunity. So I'm asking the Chancellor and our team to make sure that we use, and I'm sure we are, but sometimes things come up that we don't even know, like today. I was in a conference with the White House, and there's going to be some monies available in different areas because the president right now wants to help out with opportunities for grants. And so we're going to be on top of things, and I appreciate our Chancellor being on top. And I want to have a meeting with our grant writers so that they understand what they need to do, because we want our college district to get as many grants as we possibly can, and there will be some available.
All right. Thank you. I don't think we have any other committee report, but I want to make a comment. Some of you may be aware that I'm asking people to speak into the microphone. And it's an accommodation for me because I have a hearing issue. And so I really want to thank everybody for your efforts to accommodate me. I need to be able to hear all of you, and if I can't, I'm trying to tell you, speak into the mic or do something like that. And thank you to all the techies back there for accommodating me. I love my Mickey Mouse ears. It doesn't do anything for my hairstyle, but that's okay. I can live with it, but thank you. I just wanted to make that comment. Chancellor's report.
Well, good evening, everyone. And let me begin by thanking Dr. Thayer for your hospitality this evening here at Valley College. It's always great to be here amongst all of you, so thank you. And I also want to thank Dr. Haran, who couldn't be here today. We look forward to our April board meeting being over at Crafton Hills. So I'd like to begin by remembering the life and celebrating all the wonderful memories that we have of Dr. Tom Rivera, who recently passed away. As many of you know, Dr. Rivera, or Dr. Tom as I know him and many of you, passed away this week. He was a Valley College student from 1958 to 1960 and a member of the Valley College Foundation. Dr. Tom's life was devoted to serving others, especially mentoring our young students through the Inland Empire Future Leaders Program, which is a program that has been duplicated across the United States by various other organizations. And if you knew him, you knew that he had a special way of making you feel like you could achieve just about anything. At least that's the way he made me feel. So, he genuinely believed in the people that he encountered, and he really had a teacher's heart for him. I'd like to ask that you join me in a moment of silence for Dr. Tom. Thank you. And to his family, Dr. Lily Rivera, and everyone that loved him, I offer you my heartfelt support and friendship during this extremely difficult time. You know, we can only strive to leave a legacy like Dr. Rivera, and that's why I'd like to share with you an email I received from someone working with the State Chancellor's office, and I received this just earlier today. And what she said was, and I'm going to read this, as a resident of neighboring Kern County, a first-generation college graduate, and a fellow Latina, I see more than ever the importance of increasing higher education learning opportunities and equity for all students. The work you and your team are doing in elevating historically underrepresented populations is inspiring. People are noticing the good work that our faculty, our staff, and all of our employees are doing. So just let me tell you how proud I am of each of you for the work that you're doing every single day for our students, especially this difficult time. You know, I know that you are moving mountains for our students, so thank you for that. I appreciate it. I especially want to highlight two programs that are moving the needle on student success, one of our most important goals. Right? Our Economic Development and Corporate Training Division, EdCT, as some of us know it, won a $2.7 million grant recently. This funding will provide for underserved adults with temporarily paid employment and resources to fully enter the workforce. Part of the work they'll perform is keeping our roads and highways clean throughout San Bernardino County. I'd also like to congratulate San Bernardino Valley College for partnering with a nonprofit organization introducing youth to America infrastructure. This organization exposes students to a variety of good-paying jobs locally and out of the area in transportation, water, energy, communications, critical manufacturing, and other areas. Through this partnership, Valley College developed a series of workshops, lectures, and exposed students to internships and scholarships with opportunities with organizations such as MetroLink, Southern California Edison's, Caltrans, Omnitrans, just to name a few. And as you know, one of our goals is to elevate our regional leadership and community partnerships. Right? And that's why I'm proud to share with you all that Vice Chancellor Christina Hannon will be representing our district at the 2022 Pathways to Equity Act Conference hosted by the State Chancellor's Office. She'll be discussing best practices to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in our colleges, and that conference will be held virtually March 16th. Vice Chancellor Hannon's presentation comes on the heels of another presentation she gave on the 2nd of March on International Day for the Elimination of Racial Discrimination. So thank you for your work, Hannah, thank you. I'd also like to share that the Dean of Career Education and Human Development at Crafton Hills College, Dr. Dan Ward, has been nominated to serve as Vice President of the California Community College Association for Occupational Education in the Inland Region. Congratulations. Congratulations, Dan. So, and And I've been invited to share an accreditation team for the Los Angeles Community College District this fall, and recently invited to join the Lumina Foundation to discuss California investments in workforce and community colleges. And I will be doing that later in April. Yeah. This weekend, our men's basketball team at Valley College will be competing in the Elite Eight tournament in, I believe it is in West Hills. In West Hills, Lemoore. And it was so exciting to watch them play. I will be attending to that game and hopefully staying there all weekend as they win the state championship. And finally, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on some big milestones for our college. On April 1st, San Bernardino Valley College will be celebrating the 95th anniversary gala in serving our communities. On April 21st, Crafton Hills College will celebrate their 50th anniversary. And on April 8th, San Bernardino Valley College is hosting a groundbreaking ceremony for the new Applied Technology Building. And that is your Measure CC dollars working for our students. So I'd like to extend an invitation to all of our communities, our students, our alumni, our employees, to join us at these events. I think they will be fantastic. And just also, really, I forgot to mention one other thing that I'm incredibly proud of as well. From the Department of Finance, they recommended our projects for student housing planning grants at the level of $845,000 for each Valley College and Crafton Hills College, the largest grants awarded. So we are excited about that. It still needs to go. Thank you. It still needs to go through the final budget approvals, but all indications look like it's extremely promising, and congratulations to the two institutions. Very good work. And that's my report.
Thank you, Chancellor. I think I had a trustee raise his hand, and then trustee Williams.
Yeah, the community is at shock right now. We lost Tom Rivera, and I'd like to expand on that a little bit more. Just found out 2 days ago, and I got a call from her daughter from Miami. He says, just don't share it with anybody, because my family's not ready to respond to a lot of things. But I think that they're ready to do that. The Latino community, the community whole, but the Latino community will come together, and we're going to put something together that's going to be fantastic. And I'd like for us to be part of that. You may or may not know that his impact goes not only in the state, but the national. Two of the individuals that are Congress people right now, and I will contact them myself, should take pride in the fact that they're Congress people because of the program that he was part of, which is Future Leaders. And that's Pete Aguilar, and that's Raul Ruiz, who's the chair of the caucus for the United States Hispanic Caucus. And of course, all of you know Pete Aguilar. They would have not, it would have been difficult for them to continue doing that. And as was stated by Diana, that Dr. Rivera, as future leader, always inspired people to do well. And that was probably a good stepping stone for them to be successful. So I'm going to recommend that we establish something at the national level, and we can be part of that. We're going to do it at the state level. Like I said, everybody's in shock, including myself. He was a good friend of mine. He only lives 2 blocks away from me. And I still don't know how to interpret this. But now that the family, they just called me to tell me that the services are going to be sooner than I thought, because normally with the pandemic and all that, it takes a long time. But I think we're going to be ready to do that. And we even got a good recommendation from Ted. Ted really learned a lot from him. So Dr. Rivera had a great impact on a lot of people. And because of the Future Leader program, he was, the African American community was able to do a similar program for their group. And so he touched many, many lives. I worked with him in 1975, and he was a great supervisor. So expect additional information to come out. He was, like we did for Margaret Hill and Francis Grice. Well, he's like that, at that level. And he actually helped Margaret Hill, and he actually helped, Francis Grice.
Yeah. We'll
within his
look
own-
forward to more information.
Yes, it'll
as
be
it
really
comes
good to be able to give you that information, but
Yeah.
this is not, it's not a complete report. I just want to let you know, because I'm still in shock.
All right, thank you. Trustee Williams.
Yeah, so back to my report, something you said just made me really think about a request. Being here at Valley today, when we originally discussed like having board meetings here, at the campus, it was all about communication. And one of the requests that I have is we should tour the campus when we have our board meetings, because we come once a year, and COVID is just kind of like stopped us from really being connected, but visiting the campus will give us a chance to really kind of see the impact of our decisions. And so, it's a day, but, and it's probably going to take some work on folks' behalf, but we only come once a year, so we should walk the campus and visit some programs and just kind of just see, what's happening. And invite some people with us. Let's bring some funders, let's bring some people with us and say, support this right here, or, I think it could be really good if we put some real thought into the board meeting dates that we're on campus.
All right, that's a good suggestion, Trustee Williams. And I think when we first started to meet on the campus, that was the purpose of it, that we would have more communication. And so the COVID has, derailed a lot of stuff, and that's one of them. Thank you. Key performance indicators. Do we have a report?
We have staff available if the board members have any questions.
Any questions?
I forgot about the design build. Is it too late to clarify that?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No. I'm going to ask Executive Vice Chancellor Torres if you would give us just a brief explanation and information on design build, what that is, maybe definition, and how that impacts the institution and the district.
Definitely. Back in June 2020, you approved up to 8 projects for our district under Measure CC to be design build. We have not done design build or progressive design build in the past. This is the first time that we're doing this. It is a very progressive way of building projects. This is the 3rd project that you have approved now in design build. Again, like I said, there were 8. The advantages for us with design build is the projects get done faster. Because they get done faster, they usually get done within budget. There's usually no change orders. The risk is shifted to the vendor. We don't take the risk anymore. So that's usually what happens with design build. So that's why we decided to approach some of the projects that we have with design build. Some disadvantages, there are some disadvantages, of course. If we request a change, it's usually more expensive because they have already planned everything as it was proposed. That's usually the disadvantage of it. So we have to make sure that our scope of work is very delineated, that research has been done prior to sending this proposal out. So that's the advantages of doing design build.
So with the project that we approved today, is it feasible to get a build date and like when it'll be completed?
Yes, actually, I have the timeline here. This project, and Mike, it's your project, so jump in if I say something, please correct me. This project is going to be broken into 2 phases to minimize the disruption to the campus. The first one will be completed in summer 2023, and the second one will be completed in summer 2024.
Oh, that's fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is,
Wow, okay. And that's Crafton for folks.
That is Crafton.
yes.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So San Bernardino Valley College Academic Senate.
All right, first of all, welcome to my campus, to our campus.
Beautiful.
So hopefully you will see that there's pride in being part of this campus. There certainly is on my behalf. And so again, welcome here. I appreciate the sentiment that we should come and walk the campus. And I would strongly encourage that to happen. Come anytime you want, but at least once a year would be great. And yeah, so good stuff. On to my template today. I'm going to skip into the section about actions or updates related to goals. And under the section regarding eliminating barriers to student access and success, there is a lot going on with AB 705 and AB 1705 coming down the line. AB 705 is not new to us and our campus. Our English and math departments have been active in making, aligning with AB 705, making adjustments to ensure that we are complying. Sometimes not always at the benefit of our students, but certainly in the sense of complying. And if you're not aware already, AB 1705 is on the fast track for approval. We don't have a timeline of when that's coming, but I think both campuses agree that we have to prepare now because it will be here before we know it. And in a nutshell, there's language in there that is moving us from a space of no longer recommending support courses or concurrent courses or remedial, if you want to use that word, courses for our students, moving away from even being able to recommend that. Like right now, you can sometimes suggest that based on self-assessment and our assessment processes that are in place. And they're moving into a space of you can't even recommend those options. That's really scary for our students. Earlier this week, during our time with Chancellor Rodriguez, there was a conversation about how intent in one area is ultimately going to result in blocking groups of students for us, and they will not have the ability to be successful in those now entry-level, college-level courses. So more to come on that. The Chancellor's office, of course, is doing a lot of work, and faculty have spent a lot of time this last week and a half in both our English as Second Language program, English and math, and our institutional research department has put together, are all coming together to provide information to the state office. They're doing some surveys and trying to get some input, and hopefully we'll get better guidance down the road from that. On a positive note, under eliminating barriers for student access and success, is I want to highlight our DE training at Valley. As of today, we have 434 faculty that we have successfully, have watched go through the program successfully, the training successfully, with 2 more classes being added here this week, so that number will go up even a bit more. As we head into the sunsetting of the MOU regarding the stipend related to that training, which many faculty have taken advantage of and has made a difference for our students and the instruction that's being provided in that platform. We have 2 more sessions being offered and actually just added a 3rd session today, so I should correct that. So we are doing all that we can to really push that to faculty, remind them that the MOU is sunsetting. Now's the time to take the opportunity to do that training if they haven't done so already. And so that's the good news. Under being diverse, equitable, inclusive, and anti-racist as an institution, I just want to highlight an event that I was able to attend by our Black Faculty and Staff Association called Unsung Heroes. It was held on the 2nd of February of 22, so the lucky 2 day. It was a fantastic event that highlighted unsung heroes and related to Black History Month, of course. But I also want to point out Kanisha Bafong's just champion of the courses also that are offered at Valley College. related to, I'm going to get the course title wrong. It's History 138 and 139. It's prior to assassination of Lincoln and post-assassination of Lincoln. I should know more about that, and I apologize that I don't. But she was just championing those courses as an opportunity for those who were in attendance to learn more about the history. And I'm proud to say that I will be a student starting Monday, so I'm super excited about that. So a great local opportunity, right? I think that's really what I want to point out, is that we have stuff and resources locally that we can participate in. Under noteworthy accomplishments, which is always my favorite part, I don't think I've officially done this, but there's a lot of work happening at the campus level to just really reassess where we're at, to reassess our charges, our goals and our missions of our various committees and programs, and that's been encouraged from the Senate level as well as from the administration level. And one of our committees that I have really just been highlighting a lot because I'm super proud of the work that they're doing, not that they're the only ones, is our facilities committee. So also welcome to Neil to our campus. So our facilities committee, if you don't mind me reading what their old charge was. The Facilities and Safeties Committee serves as an advisory committee to college services and operations, including facilities, campus appearance, emergency preparedness, sustainability practices, campus safety training. Additionally, the committee reviews and submits facilities capital outlay plan to College Council. Seems like a fine charge. But we have faculty and other committee members who have really wanted to look at that differently. And so I'm going to wrap up most of this report by reading the new charge. And hopefully you'll be able to see the highlights of the change and the perspective change that's occurred in that process. The Facilities and Safety Committee is charged to identify and recommend to the College Council specific actions and strategic plans that serve the institution's mission, making a connection. This committee moves the San Bernardino Valley College community towards an improved educational environment for our students with respect to health, safety, facility appearance, maintenance, and environmental sustainability, grounds, utility, and inclusiveness of intersecting social cultural aspects and entities. This committee makes appropriate recommendations on facility modifications and planning of new facilities through shared governance process. The committee also reviews and provides input on the district's safety programs. Furthermore, it is our charge to collaborate with and advise the District Facilities Advisory Committee to advocate for and communicate SBVC's interest. So all of the connections being made with the new advisory committee structure that we have, that we've worked so hard to put into place and to fine-tune over this last year. So just many levels of improvement there. So I want to recognize them for that. And last but not least, I want to recognize our student health services, the faculty participating there have put together a Together We Thrive events happening on Wednesdays. And they're covering topics for our students like time management, dealing with guilt and shame, the makings of self-care, and what is imposter syndrome. All very relative topics for our students, and as we know, more and more we're talking about the mental health of our students, the support that we need to put into place, and how we can better serve them in that area. So I'm glad to see topics like this being provided by our faculty. So thank you for your time, and again, welcome to my campus, our campus.
Thank you. San Bernardino Valley College Classified Senate.
Good evening. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Chancellor.
Thank you.
College presidents. On behalf of the SBVC Classified Senate, I would like to speak to the issues related to the annual budget shortfalls in the 5-year projections and the role of classified professionals in serving our students and campus communities. We understand the budget and the need to be cautious about overspending, especially in these times. However, balancing the budget on the backs of classified professionals who have already gone above their duty to make sure that we get through this pandemic is just plain wrong. As someone who sits on many meetings and has spent much of my time here listening closely to the leadership and trying to contribute to the solutions that serve all of us, I'm disappointed that we are even having to make a point of proving our worth as classified professionals. The truth is that many of us, despite the claims of how supportive you say you are, do not feel supported at all. We're not asking for raises. We're asking for compensation for the work already done and to keep our wages in place so we don't experience a loss due to the cost of living increase. We are not greedy. We are not ignorant to the issues we may face as a district in the future. But we have overcome these same issues in the past, even when past administrations created panic that the sky was falling. And we will continue to work together to serve the best interest of our students, employees, and the tax-paying public, which many of us are also a part of. We implore you
Academic Senate.
A long walk. Okay, so first I want to thank Davina for bringing up AB 705 and the changes for AB 1705. We have an amazing VPI on our campus. Key, wave. Okay, and an awesome math chair named Danielle McCoy that you gave tenure to tonight. So congratulations to Danielle. And they've inputted changes for fall so that we can work with the law and then make sure our students are supported, regardless of whether or not we support the changes that the law is forcing on us. So thank you so much for updating the board's strategic directions. They do a much better job of making it easier for me to report because they match so well the work that we're already doing on the campuses. So the training offered by our PD lead, our AB 705 leads, our distance education lead, our guided pathway lead, have almost exclusively focused on eliminating barriers for students and on anti-racism and decolonization for the past several years. We have several faculty working to identify the ways in which the current resource allocation model, which is the way we work our budget, is directly impacting, and unfortunately in negative ways, our classroom instruction and our ability to adapt effective teaching strategies, such as high-impact practices, establishing and maintaining positive relationships, and intrusive support. We have several faculty that work as partners in addressing regional issues, but I want to emphasize the role of our CTE liaison, who among many of her duties facilitates local and regional CTA discussions and identifies CTE issues of concern locally and regionally. So as I have repeated in the past, our faculty needs support from you in addressing the board. There are many areas that are part of your agenda that lack context and proper impact because they lack the voice of the faculty who are doing the actual work. We have a plethora of faculty leads on our campus, and we're asking that the board updates their policies and work to eliminate barriers for our faculty by including faculty experts in agenda reports and anywhere else they would be appropriate. So I have a detailed list, and I have handouts, so that you can get one after the meeting. They come with names. But just to cap, we have an AB 705 lead, a chair of chairs, which we are scheduling expert, a curriculum lead, a distance education lead, a guided pathways lead, a multilingual lead, a professional development lead, and a starfish lead, which is our intrusive interventions in the classroom. We have CTE liaison to the statewide academic senate. We have a legislative liaison, we have a non-credit liaison, we have a guided pathway liaison, and we have an OER or free book liaison. So these are all faculty experts on our campus that could speak to you on any of these matters. So when you see these things come up on your agenda, just double check that those voices are there so that you're getting the whole picture. And I have those ready for you. And finally, last but not least, I wanted to say that we really appreciate the support for AB 705. As Davina said, we have a lot of trainings on our campus, and the stipends to get those instructors, especially our part-time instructors who don't have the hours to be there, into the trainings is very useful. So we appreciate your support. And most of all, we appreciate the support of our classified staff who got them on the agenda so that they could be paid. Thank you.
Crafton Hills Classified Senate.
Hi, good evening, everybody. All right, I'm actually going to spice it up a little bit and go backwards. So I'm going to start with the noteworthy accomplishments and activities. We do have Belinda Navarrete, which was, she recently accepted the position at Crafton as the coordinator of outreach and school relations. We are thrilled to have her in the position and are fortunate to have her as part of our new outreach department. Diana Vaiches is one of the members chosen to participate in Leading from the Middle. Diana has been an asset to not only the research department at Crafton, but to the campus at large as well. Laura Van Genderen and Vicky Barra have both been essential to the Student Services Department at Crafton Hills College. Without the hiring of the secretary position to replace Kathy Wilson's position when she retired in 2020, Laura and Vicky stepped into that role in addition to their current positions. Student Services Department at Crafton Hills is ever grateful to them both for their quality of work, their compassion, and the value that they have at Crafton. Rebecca Abeda, for the past 2.5 years, has been a leader with the Caring Campus initiative, working with Rosemary Hansen. Rebecca has a dedication and passion necessary in implementing this initiative. Classified Senate is thrilled to have Rebecca take this lead and are excited about the plans she has for the coming year. About the elimination for barriers to student access and success, currently Caring Campus and Classified Senate are taking part in discussions on how classified can ensure accessibility and support student success for Crafton students. Caring Campus is currently planning for the coming school year to create events and activities that are littered throughout the semesters to aid in student success. And there will be more to come soon, hopefully by May. The other stuff is CHC Classified Senate is having elections for the 2022-2024 term. Wow, that's a lot of twos. The new board should be announced by June, and the planning of Classified Professionals Week is currently in the works to host workshops and activities to promote partnership and professional development. And to end this out, I know that we're constantly talking about COLA. I know that you know all the stats, you know the money, you get that, absolutely. And I know that you're listening to us, but we need you to hear us, to be empathetic what we're going through, because all of us are struggling here. And all that we're asking you to do is just to pay attention, to have compassion, to have empathy, and to actually hear what we're telling you. Thank you.
Crafton Hills College Associated Students. No one here, okay. CSEA.
Casey's going to pass out some data that we put together, and I want to really highlight that, you know, a team of classified did this for several days, above and beyond their work hours, after hours, like, you know, trying to find the facts amongst the nut and shell game that we see around the budget sometimes. And so we want to talk about a couple things, and I'm going to use the template. Again, I'm a fan now, Diana, the template. Especially y'all approving the goals and the values, you know. And one of those values that really jumped out to me was courage. And we're asking you to be courageous in taking a second look at some of the information that you're getting. And trust us. Eliminate barriers. As a classified employee, the biggest barrier that I experienced to my success and the success of my colleagues and even the students is just getting decision makers to listen and act accordingly. For the last few years, I've gotten on this mic and asked for certain things. Some of them have started to finally materialize. When I hear the faculty talking about, you know, what's happening in the sustainability and facilities area, when I hear folks talking about decolonizing, saying the word decolonizing in this room, like, you know, those are equity things we've been working for a long time and haven't seen happen. And I want to give a shout out again to Christina and Asia and the folks that have really been creating a culture change. And you're seeing that happening in these reports. But other things have been blatantly ignored. The consultant that we're currently using for the educational master plan, the Brain Trust folks, produced a report years ago that we paid a pretty penny for, by the way, highlighting certain inequities regarding the management to staff ratios and the inefficiencies in this district. We have asked for that data repeatedly. We've done public information requests, and because we knew it was gonna only be a matter of time before it would be needed, when the district would fail to recognize the contributions, the effectiveness, and the dedication of the classified unit. That time is here and now. The issue is COLA and a living wage. That's what we're here to talk about. Be anti-racist. When we talk about anti-racism and DEI, we know that the challenge is to get someone to recognize that their privilege clouds their ability to see the struggle and reality of those vulnerable communities that don't share that power. Whether it's race, or sex, or ability, or status, or class. In this working world, our presentation today is ultimately about both class and race. You can't be anti-racist or anti-classist if you can't put yourself in the shoes of someone who has an experience different than yours and try to feel their pain. The lack of an ability to do that causes racism. It impacts how we view others, and it leads to injustice. Where do we see that the most? Let's look at the custodial unit. We have done studies and documented how the folks in that area have been understaffed, overworked, and expected to make miracles on skeleton crews. They go above and beyond consistently and haven't seen the compensation to match their efforts. They are struggling, and we see it every day, and we feel it when we talk to them and we work side by side with them. Casey's gonna talk a little bit about what that looks like.
So if you, sorry. If you take a look at the packet, you can see on the second page, and I do apologize, there were numbers associated with this pie chart. They disappeared in my print.
They're on the second page.
Are they? Yes, so the data from that is actually this last page, okay? And do note that that last page is from 2017. So we are already, this is old data, and we are as bad as we are financially. So if you look at the custodians, at range 27, the blue is the amount of rent that the person has to pay on average. Utilities is orange, gray is transportation, yellow is food, and green is other. Green is the $324 that the person has left over for everything else in their lives, based on 2017 data. Now we're in a completely different situation where inflation is rampant and it's even worse. I imagine that the $324 that were left over for these folks are now being spent on gas. Now, if you take a look at the next page, so this is this is our lowest, lowest 10 ranges in our salary schedule. So we compared that to the lowest 10 in the management salary schedule. And as you can see, the blue is more of a reasonable, almost about a third is what you should be spending on your housing, about a third of what you make. Other is the green. That's your disposable income. Almost over half of what you make, if going by the data on how much it costs to live in our areas, more than half of what the person makes, they can spend however they choose. So this huge increase in gasoline prices is not going to impact somebody who has $5,000 a month of extra income. This is the picture that I wanted to paint for you, because maybe you didn't, you guys have conversations with and deal with managers. And all of these managers all have fairly high salaries. And the main, when people think of a college, they think of teachers, right? And so teachers are, they're a little higher on the scale in the hundreds of thousands. What you may not understand is that our classified, the people who clean this room after you're gone, make just over $30,000 a year. And this is what their lives look like.
So hopefully you see how that's an equity issue, right? That's equity. That's what equity looks like. So your other goals are be a leader. You've heard from many leaders in our district today, regardless of title. I'm a leader, not just because of my title, because I'm a homegrown leader that was taught, mentored, and supported by the best leaders this institution has ever known. Some of you are at this table. Frank, Joseph, John Longville, Gloria, Diana, I learned from all of you. But also folks like Julianne Martin, Ed Gomez, Ed Milliken, Denise Knight, Sonny and Amber Wallach, Gloria Ceballos, Kelly Barnett, and Kathy Adams, and a lot of students and a lot of classified staff that guided and mentored me along the way. My first mentor was Julianne, and she used to always tell me that I'm the most underpaid, underpositioned employee that she has ever known. She still tells me that today. Leadership is not a characteristic or a personality trait, and especially not a title. It's an action. You lead by example. You model what eliminating barriers, being anti-racist, and ensuring fiscal accountability looks like. Fiscal fairness, fiscal justice. I know my worth. And I also know that along with all the classified here today, we have collectively earned and deserve that 5% COLA that the state has entrusted to you, this district, on our behalf. Ensure fiscal accountability. I mentioned earlier the management to staff ratio, which I personally believe, if looked at, would solve both the projected $8 million budget shortfall in 2025 and also provide for the COLA if addressed. I also thoroughly analyzed the budget. Along with others, we easily found examples of over-budgeting, overspending in non-essential areas like consultants, professional experts, which, by the way, should both be classified jobs. We found gross examples of hidden monies, patterns where they continuously happen year after year after year. And we see clearly the investments in assets like facilities or other projects that create other priorities that don't directly serve students or increase our FTS income to the district. What we don't see is equity in the investment of human resources, namely the frontline classified employees that kept this district afloat during the pandemic and beyond. Casey's going to talk a little bit about those 5 budget projections.
So in analyzing the budget over the last 5 years, the top page you can see, we just took out 5 examples of budgeted items that you can see that were consistently over budgeted for the last 5 years. I'd like to point you to professional experts. While it's a small amount comparatively, professional experts should be classified staff. The work that they do is generally within our job descriptions, and we will be taking further action in the future to ensure that those professional experts are brought into the unit. But we are $700,000 over budgeted for the last 5 years. Consultants. In 2018, we were budgeted $7,300,000. I'm sorry, 2018. $7,300,000. We spent $5,300,000. We had $2 million left over. We broke even in the next couple of years, but then after that, it really just went crazy. We have $5.3 million over budgeted for consultants for the last 5 years. What happens to that money at the end? Oh, yeah, I'll get to that. What happens to that money in the end? It goes into the coffers. It goes into the slush fund, right? So our budget, if followed the way that it is right now, we are over budgeting in areas where we could take that over budgeting and put it towards the classified staff that run this district. Legal, private legal expenses, $1.2 million over budgeted, 3.16 million spent. I didn't tell you how much we actually spent on consultants. I'm sorry. Mary tried to chime in. We spent over 5 years $26.3 million on consultants. I'm sorry, 26 million was budgeted, 21 was spent. Did you get $21 million worth of advice? What would $21 million over 5 years done for our classified staff? We could have really used those funds. But instead, we did our jobs and we got stuff done, and you were able to save that money. Liability, though it's not much, just want to point out, we're spending so much on liability because we're making bad decisions. Same thing with legal. We shouldn't have to have legal representation if we're not making bad decisions. Other expenses and fees. This one really threw me for a loop. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it is $8 million over budget in the last 5 years. Altogether, last 5 years, just in these 5 object codes, $15 million. Now you need to understand that we're looking at this and going, there's your money. You want $8 million in 3 years? You think that we're going to be in the hole? It's right there. Pull it out. The 5% COLA we calculate, though not very accurately, again, where I am a chemist, she's a secretary, we do our best. But we are, it's going to cost you guys $800,000 of ongoing funds to fund that. The other thing I want to ask, I want to point out, in conversations with some leadership at this table, some of you were of the understanding that the cost of living adjustment that the state gave us was one time. That's disturbing to me. The fact that you have staff here whose job is to make sure that you understand what our budget outlook looks like, and when I talk to you behind closed doors, you say, well, the COLA is one time. Why are you asking for money? No, the COLA is ongoing. And the only reason that we would not be flush with money in 3 years is if we don't hire the classified staff that we need to bring in the students, namely financial aid, outreach, recruitment, those people, admissions, records, marketing, research. Did I say research? You invest in those things, we're going to pull in the students. But that's not how you guys invest. And we do have more information on how you're also very inefficient in how you're spending your money on personnel. We'll get into that next month.
I just want to add, we pulled this information from Questica.
Yes.
So this is real-time information because we couldn't get the accurate data picture from the district itself. And we asked multiple times. So we had someone pull up the numbers on Questica, and this is directly from Questica in real time. So if it doesn't look different, if it doesn't look the same as the numbers you're seeing elsewhere, we need to figure out why. Because according to our system that we use on the fiscal side, this is accurate. So thank you.
Now, before I conclude my report, as you guys are aware, and I made you aware in the beginning, we have staff who are working. So some of them have shown up. They would have liked to have given public comment in the beginning, were unable to because they were working. For those who would like to speak, I would ask them to come up now.
Wait a minute. We're past public comment. We're past public comment.
This is my report, and so this is part of my report. If you don't want to hear from these folks, you can say that you don't want to hear from these folks, but if you would like to hear from these folks, then you should schedule public comment during a time where these folks are available. So I am...
If this is part of your... If this is part of your report, then it isn't public comment.
Let's start with Julie Yaloa, who was just acknowledged for her years of service and was working and couldn't get here and wants to speak to this board.
Well, it's part of your report.
Yes.
It's part of your report.
Greetings all. I'm a little short. So I would like to share 6 quick facts with you. Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to share 6 quick facts with you. Yes, my hair is pink. I had to dye it after all the gray came out in the pandemic. So yes, you're seeing correctly, I'm pink. Number 2, I've worked for the SBCCD for 31 years. Woo! It went by like that. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to work, and I highly recommend it to anyone pursuing a career. It's a wonderful place to work. Number 3, I'm grateful for all of my years at SBVC. Every single learning opportunity that I've absorbed, both painful and happy. Number 4, I believe that if you conducted a survey, you would find that the applause cards are not a way to thank your employees properly. It was great in the beginning, and it was a great sentiment in the beginning, but I think it's played out. The way to pay homage to your employees is by paying them a fair wage, and that will always win, hands down. Number 5, I feel for you in your duties as a trustee. I feel for you all in your duties, because I know it can't always be easy. It's a difficult position to be in. And I will pray for you that you will come to understand that to withhold the COLA from your employees during such a significant time in history is wrong on so many levels. Number 6, consider this. If you did not have all of these classified employees showing up for students to function, to open every office, to answer every email, to answer every call, you would have to shut the college down. You would not be able to function. So I plead with you all to consider that, because these numbers that they're giving you are fact. They're fact. The situation with the COLA that it's ongoing is fact. That's about it. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the lead custodian here at Valley College, at our crown jewel of San Bernardino. And it makes me feel very blessed that you recognize the crown jewel for which you sit in. I am so proud of that. I want to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, to the rest of our staff on this campus that make sure that you have the cleanest, safest, most enjoyable experience on this campus. Right there. We are here, ladies and gentlemen, until 1:30 a.m. in the morning. You realize that? Okay? Our jobs have significantly changed over this pandemic. And I agree. And, you know, we've got an applause card from Scott. Thank you, sir. We got a copy of an applause card. Okay? And again, thank you, but if I can't put gas in my car to get over here, if these folks right here can't put food on their table, I'm sorry, folks, but your applause card just doesn't get it. I want to say thank you, but here we are just one spoke in the wheel that makes this college turn. I want everybody else to recognize the staff that is behind me. Raise up your signs, ladies and gentlemen. Raise them up. Raise them up. Ladies and gentlemen, a leader does not dip from the well before his soldiers are fed. When you take care of your soldiers take care of you. Look around this campus, ladies and gentlemen. I agree with Mr. Williams that you should come see the hard work. You see those little bottles right there? You don't know how heavy those cases are that I have to bring to you so that you can have wipes, toilet paper, and those things. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't asking. Do it, please, okay? Look outside what's happening. Prices are going up all over the place. And granted, if you're making a You know, if you're making 100, you're rich to me. You're rich to me. I'm making 20, almost not even $25 an hour, and I can't pay my bills. And over this pandemic, the last 2 years that we've had to deal with, and still, and understaffed, and they brought the papers right here. This is appalling. This is appalling. Tell them that they're not worth the money. You tell them that they're not worth the money. When they're talking about coming to fight for students, that's our bread and butter. And poor decision making, ladies and gentlemen. Consider what I just said. I don't want you to hear me, I want you to listen. Pay attention, because this ain't done. Thank you for your consideration.
So, good morning, good evening, Board of Trustees, members. My name is Andrew Graham, and I'm once again here before you to represent CSEA Chapter 535 and our show of support and solidarity for Chapter 291. Since we last spoke, things have changed. Gas has gone up, food and supplies have gone up. Yet there's been little movement on the conversation about paying employees fair and equitable wages. Cost of living adjustments given with the intent of helping employees during this pandemic. Your reputation and legacy are directly reflected on how you serve in crisis. Your compassion and empathy are out of view to the people you serve and lead. Where's the hesitation? What's the rationale? The compensation study that was completed? The one that's already been surpassed by inflation and living adjustments in your regional competitive colleges? You can't hide behind the guise of competitive offerings. They're very quickly disappearing, and with it, the morale and support of your employees. I bring with the chapter leadership and members of 535 here tonight, individuals who have stake and influence in the San Bernardino community, individuals who find it absolutely appalling that a year later we're having a conversation about cost of living. We'll continue to support our brothers and sisters in Chapter 291. Our families and friends that dwell in this community are hearing of this story, and they're not happy. And remember, our voices are loud, but our votes are a lot louder. And this year and next year are election years. Board of Trustees members, and as we go through this process, we'll continue to stand with our brothers and sisters. Thank you.
I'm sure that there were more people that wanted to be here and speak, but they couldn't be here. Oh. Okay, come on, Vita.
Hello, my fellow classified. Thank everybody for being here. Thank you, board members, for being here. You know, just listening to this is disheartening. And surely you guys really don't know all of the information, or the COLA would have been passed. I respect a lot of you. I worked alongside of most of you, and I have great respect for you. I just want you to know that we are special. We shouldn't be here tonight. We shouldn't, it's almost like begging for money, being on the street. I don't beg for money. I work my ass off for money. My mom taught me. My mom is a mother of 9. I get up every morning with joy. Sometimes I'm tired. I stay on the computer at night. I want to make sure that these students get what they need. All of these people right here do the same thing. They do the same thing that I do with passion. And we love our students. We love working here. We're not complaining about our job. We're complaining about not being treated like human beings. We are human. No one in this room should have to come here tonight and say, give me my COLA. It was given to us. It was there for us. And you can't possibly sit there and say, we can't give it to you when it's there to give, when it was there, put there for us. Okay, so maybe you hold classified staff in low regard. I don't know. No one has told me, because when I see you, you smile at me and tell me what a great job I'm doing. And I appreciate that, because I do work hard. I do. I deserve that. I thank you. Perhaps you see surrounding district better than the true people of SBVC, CAC, District, EDTC, and KVCR, because on top of receiving higher pay, they receive the cost of living every year. What about us? What about us? That's wrong. Perhaps you look upon managers as deserving their COLA each and every year, but not classified, not even once out of 4 years. Out of 4 years, we don't get cost of living? You know that's wrong. I would be home with my family tonight, loving on them because I'm here mostly. Last week, I was here from 7 to 7, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., for nothing other to greet our students and welcome them, because I love them and I want them to survive. I don't want to thank you, and you're amazing, and you're here each and every time I need you. I want my money. These people want their money. You managers have theirs. Surrounding districts have theirs. Why are we here? This is a no-brainer. We are remarkable people receiving less than unremarkable pay. We deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. Not stand here after hours fighting for money that is already ours. We don't need for anyone to hold our money as if we don't know how to manage it like they did with slaves back in the day. This is my money. If it was given to me, give it to me. It's not yours to hand it out as allowance or you see fit when they said it's ours. If you are not a barrier that's stopping us from getting what's due, our fair share, and you are unaware of the shenanigans that's going on, it's time for you to make a stand. It's time for you to make it right. And thank all of you for your time. Thank you. I really appreciate that, because I know you could have said we can't speak, but I appreciate that.
On behalf of all the classified staff that work for our district, I look forward to getting a real offer for COLA at our next negotiations meeting. And we can close out negotiating our contract and finally get the respect that we deserve. Thank you.
Trustee Williams.
So just through the chair, this is not an issue that we've studied as a board, and so I'd just like to ask that the Board Finance Committee convene and have an opportunity to study, look at the information, and then be able to provide guidance and direction to the staff at our earliest convenience. Not, take a long time, but convene the Finance Committee and let us take a look. And I really would like to verify what I heard today, understand your perspectives, and just let the Board Finance Committee get up to speed and then come back to the full board with something.
Yes. You're the chair, Mr. Trustee Williams.
Thank you.
I'm sure that you can work with
I don't want to wait a whole long time to meet either, please.
Okay. CTA. Do we have a report from CTA? Yes.
All right, good evening, members of the board. I know you've heard a lot here tonight. So I will keep my report brief. I know you have a lot to consider. I do want to take a minute to publicly voice our support for our classified union in their struggle and their fight for COLA. I also want to say thank you for this because we are also doing wages in a little bit, and this will come in handy for us as well. Let's see. I just wanted to take a minute just to say thank you. The majority of faculty, especially faculty who are teaching and working face-to-face with students, were very pleased to hear about the decision to leave the mask mandate in place until the end of the semester. I know it wasn't an easy decision, and I know not everybody agrees, but we do thank you for that decision, since we are in those classrooms with 40 people breathing on us for a few hours every week. So we want to say thank you for that. We also wanted to take a minute to thank Joseph Williams for his support of the union and his continuing to check in with us. And Trustee Gonzalez, I swear we're not avoiding you. We will have you to our next meeting so that you can come and introduce yourself and give us some information, and that we can also share our information with you. If you have not heard, we do have, SBCCD does do a podcast. So we have a new podcast up on reassign time and release time, the difference between the two and how to figure those two out. If you haven't listened to our podcast, I encourage you to do so. Brandy and I are hysterical hosts, so you should listen to that. And we also have been reinvigorating our Instagram. So if you have Instagram, I encourage you to follow us. It's at SBCCDTA. We have been posting new things, and we are up to 70 whole followers. So, if you want to make it 75, go for it. One other thing I actually did want to present is on behalf of the students. I don't know if you're aware, but Valley has an incredibly active student CTA group organization on campus. Catalina Castillo is the current president of that student group, and she is invited to come and present to our executive board each month. And so she came this last month, and she did present a number of concerns. I just let me hold this so I can make sure I see. Concerns that she and other students are having. So again, this is not necessarily union per se, but it is on behalf of the students, and we said we would bring this forward. She expressed some serious concerns with the constant changes that students are experiencing, with the switching between remote and in-person instruction and services. She expressed frustration with both the mid-semester changes and then inadequate communication from the campuses about the changes, especially as related to student support. She had a lot of concerns about tutoring and access to people and things like that, and a lack of communication. So we all agree that students should be at the core of our decisions. And so on behalf of the students, the faculty union is asking for better communication with the students. Not necessarily more, but more effective. Let's see. And then lastly, I just want to say congratulations to the 9 faculty who were granted tenure this evening. That concludes my report.
Thank you. The Police Officers Association? No? Okay. San Bernardino Valley College President.
Well, good evening, Chair Harrison, Chancellor Rodriguez, members of the board, campus and community. Welcome to Valley College. It's our privilege to host the meeting this evening. So I just wanted to say welcome on behalf of the campus. A few updates. I guess the good news is, being this far in the reporting, a lot of my items get mentioned earlier, so I won't get into detail on too many of those things. But in regards to student success, I just wanted to share some things our students are doing. Our MESA program has a few students who've been accepted into a research program. One at MIT and the other at NASA. So these are our women in science. So we want to celebrate and uplift our women in science. So just wanted to make that announcement here. And in an ongoing effort, as we work with students to make sure they're prepared for success in transfer level math, we'll be offering a summer math boot camp. So we know that's an important topic. We heard about AB 705. So we want to make sure we're meeting the needs of our students to make sure they're prepared to be successful when they enter our campus. Our theater department has had students participating virtually in the KACATF Virtual Festival. So our students are still engaging albeit virtually, and doing well. And so I just wanted to really highlight the work that our faculty and staff are doing in support of our students, and providing these types of events, activities, as we come back. As we know, we came back into our pre-spring schedule as of last Monday. We've had staff and faculty on campus greeting our students. The first week, we saw over 300 students, helping them find their way back to class. So just a really great campus effort to welcome the students back to our campus after the first 6 weeks of remote, mainly remote instruction and services. It was mentioned, our men's basketball team is in the state tournament. I think it's a great thing for Coach Quincy Brewer. During these difficult times and seeing the success of our men's teams through adversity, they lost 2 of their top players, but we're still going to be up there giving it the college try and really showing the Valley spirit as the team takes the court this weekend. So we're excited, and just wanted to acknowledge the work of Coach Brewer and the men's program as we work our way through this state tournament. Our basic law enforcement academy graduating class 225 is actually graduating tonight. So 35 trainees from the basic law enforcement in partnership with San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department will graduate, and the majority of these trainees have already been hired by various law enforcement agencies throughout Southern California. So we just wanted to acknowledge their completion. An event happening tomorrow, Wonderful World of STEAM, sponsored by our tutoring center. So STEM counselors will host middle college students and local students in the school district. They'll have keynote speakers for the students around STEM educational programs. And they're going to host about 3,000 students virtually. So we're really excited about that event tomorrow. We've been awarded a $200,000 IEPI grant through the California Community College Chancellor's Office. And so that will enable the college to build dashboards and really focus in on some areas, work collaboratively with our sister college. It's part, and really dovetail with our educational master planning process. So we're excited to receive those funds. And we also have submitted a grant to close the equity gap for calculus. So that proposal is led by our faculty member, Anthony Castro, in our research planning institutional effectiveness area. So we're hoping to hear some good things about that. And this past week, I was able to attend in person the Amend Conference, the 15th annual conference. We took 10 students and 5 faculty and staff, and they got to hear great guest speakers, workshops around the success for African American students. Last thing I would like to say, well, 2 last things. One is I would like to congratulate our faculty who have been granted tenure through the action of this board, so thank you. Lucas Cooney, David Martin, Adam Pave, Ty Simpson, and Michelle Tinoco from Valley College. Congratulations on receiving tenure. And I would also like to thank you for approving the appointment of our newest executive member at Valley College, our interim vice president of administrative services, Ms. Tennille Norris. Welcome to Valley, and thank you. And that's my report.
You don't look like the president. Did you go on vacation and come back and find out that you had a new position?
I'll never fill his shoes. Not adequately.
Crafton Hills.
Good evening. It's great to be with you and to be here and to represent Dr. Haran in his place. He is actually out promoting one of your board goals, actually, as a regional leader. So he has been selected to be a part of the Wheelhouse Institute in 2022, which is sponsored by the Center for Community College Leadership Research. So he's there providing input through the lens of Southern California, Inland Empire, SBCCD, on leadership theory, policy development, and actionable research. So we look forward to hearing some of his input as he comes back. Also, to help SBCCD as a regional leader as well, our very own Kashonda Harris who is our EOPS counselor and professional development coordinator at Crafton, was selected and participated last month in the annual Similar Leadership Seminar. This seminar is an intensive 4-day experience. Chancellor Rodriguez is over there nodding because she's been a part of that. I think you were a speaker this year at the seminar, weren't you? So thank you for that. So this seminar focuses on the issues facing women who have made a commitment to community college administration, either in their current position or as a future goal. So the purpose is to provide information, strategies, contacts, and opportunities for professional as well as personal growth. And the expected outcome is that these participants will be able to acquire and successfully accept expanded leadership responsibilities at their college or at other community colleges throughout the state. So tomorrow is an exciting day for Crafton. It'll represent the largest in-person outreach event that we've had in the last 2 years. This is where Crafton will be hosting over 400 high school students at our senior day. And there'll be 12 high schools represented. And we've got, well, an RSVP count of 466 so far. So this is thanks to the work of Delmy Spencer and her student services team to provide and host those students. So we look forward to that. Also, in the efforts to advance access to address DEIA, is Crafton Hills has submitted for 2 grants, which Frank was here to hear, or Trustee Reyes was here to hear this. We submitted for 2 grants. One is to participate in the Strategic Enrollment Management Program. It's a competitive grant process, and we learned just this week that we've been selected to move on to the interview phase of that process.
Good.
So we hope to have some more good news to report as time goes on. This will help assist Crafton in aligning program maps with student course data, and that'll allow us to help provide information onto the class schedule. Additionally, we submitted the second grant I mentioned, an application for the Learning Lab grant to the State Chancellor's Office to improve equity outcomes in our calculus pathway as well. If successful, we'll receive $100,000 to support increasing success rates of African American and Hispanic students through the entire calculus pathway. Want to say thank you, and we're excited by the support of our academic senate and math department in that important effort. Also, Chancellor Rodriguez mentioned in her report an invitation to you. I'd like to personally extend an invitation to you also to come and participate in our 50th anniversary gala on April 21st at 5:30 to 8 p.m. This year's gala is themed as Crafton Through the Years, and it promises to be one of the best and largest galas to date. So if you'd like to join us, you'll help guarantee that it might be the largest to date. So we welcome and be glad to have you and host you there. One of the best things of being out there on the campus is being with the students. Yesterday we had that opportunity in one of our 3 Peaks Challenge events. We took a hike of about 25 students and went up to Zanja Peak, one of our local hills right there in the Crafton Hills. And it was a wonderful event. Our Academic Senate President helped lead the charge with her 2 cute kids, and it was a great opportunity to engage with our students. So want to say thank you for your support for Crafton, and we hope to see you at our gala in next month, and at Crafton for the board meeting. Be happy to provide you with a tour. Thank you.
Thank you. We have also a report from our Executive Vice Chancellor.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, evening. Couple things. Definitely, whenever you are free and you have some time, we'll love to take you around at both of our campuses so you can see them. You don't have to wait for the meeting to take place. Just let us know. We'll be more than happy. We have a really good collaboration with the campuses, and we can definitely accommodate that for you. In regards to Trustee Williams' request, we'll definitely, at the last strategy session, we present to you data about our enrollment, our fiscal data, and what we see that's coming from the state. Our campuses are currently working on the budget process. We are about to complete. Once that is complete, you'll definitely receive the analysis that we're putting together for you all. I just do want to remind CSEA that are always welcome to come and request data. All district budget data is available it's a public records, and will be definitely provided upon request. That is not an issue at all. We'll be more than happy to provide the data whenever it's needed. I do want to congratulate Neil as well, but also at the same time congratulate Jorge Andrade, who's sitting next to her. This is succession planning working at its best. It really is. These are two individuals that have worked really hard to get to where they are. And this is succession planning. You know, when Tenille is ready, now she's doing an interim. Jorge is ready, now he's doing an interim. Again, perfect example of succession planning in our district, and what a great district we really have for our opportunities for all of us. The last thing I want to mention, you have this with you. This is an update from Measure CC in regards to the local hire, in regards to the economic impact that our district is making to our economy. So just wanted to let you know that that's there for you. Thank you.
Question?
Yeah, question. So I was confused about what you said. So how soon will we get a chance to understand what we received? Because you said when it was ready.
It's sure. The colleges are working on their budget. It is due next week. And then our staff on the Larry's team is putting the analysis together. So by the end of the month, we'll have the analysis ready.
But we received some information today that I'd never seen before. So how soon can you analyze this and convene the finance committee?
We'll definitely ask questions of CSCA, how they got the data, and we'll make sure that we get that to you by next week as well, as soon as we get the information from CSCA.
Okay, thank you.
We also have a report from our Vice Chancellor from Human Resources.
Good evening, thank you. I will try to be brief as well. I do want to highlight that we are currently recruiting for 12 classified positions. This is as a result of the hiring freeze that we went into in 2020 due to the pandemic. And so we are starting to be able to backfill those very important positions. And so we currently have 12 positions in active recruitment. I do need to clarify two things that were said tonight that I need to clarify for the record. The first is that we did receive a verbal request for information regarding the budget presentation. However, we did ask for that to be given to us in writing, and Executive Vice Chancellor Jose Torres is willing to come in and have a discussion with CSA at the table. We have yet to receive that request in writing. As soon as we receive it, we will be able to accommodate that request. The other clarifying point is that, as Executive Vice Chancellor Torres stated, we are waiting on this analysis before the district can counter to the proposal. As I stated at the last negotiation meeting, I cannot get into details. However, the district has not said no to anything. The district is waiting on the analysis, and that the board will then be given the information, so that way they can set the parameters. So I did need to clarify that statement, that I am the chief negotiator. I am meeting and conferring at the table, and I am waiting on the analysis, so that way I can counter with what the district is able to do. I do want to highlight two other events that are happening in human resources. Thank you to Chancellor Rodriguez for letting everyone know I will be presenting on Wednesday. And then Aisha Brown, our Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, will be joining the DEIA Town Hall meeting. Thank you to Trustee Williams for giving us that information. That will be happening on Thursday at 6 p.m. And lastly, I just want to say thank you again to all of those that participate. I know today we've been highlighting all of the goals. All 4 goals are very near and dear to my heart, but I do want to say a shout out to those that participate on the HR DEIA committee. I am biased, but I believe it's the best committee in the district. And we just have some very healthy and safe conversations, and I see the needle being moved forward. So I did want to close with that positive thank you to everyone that participates. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. We are announcing the items for closed session. Conference with labor negotiators, Government Code 54957.6, agency representatives, Diana Z. Rodriguez and Christina Hannon, CSEA, CTA, POA, management/supervisors and confidential employees. Also, public employees discipline, dismissal, release, non-reemployment, Government Code 54957, one case. Conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code 54956.9, D2, one case. Conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code 54956.9, E3 or D, three cases. Public employees performance evaluation, Government Code Section 54957B1, and titled Chancellor. At this time, do we have any public comments on closed session items? We do not. Then I will recess this public session and convene closed session.
Do we have five? Do we have five?
Yes. told my husband, don't wait up.
Oh, I told mine I was on my way. Okay, reopen the meeting.
Is everybody here? 1, 2, 3,
Yep,
4.
we're all here.
We are reconvening the business session of the Board of Trustees meeting on March 10th. It's at 7:43. Madam Clerk, if you would read.
Thank you. 2 actions were taken in closed session. On March 10th, 2022, the board unanimously voted with trustees Longville, Reyes, and Gonzalez not in attendance to take action to approve settlement of workers' comp claim number 537761 with employee number 4225. Further, on March 10th, 2022, the board unanimously voted with trustees Longville, Reyes, and Gonzalez not in attendance to take action to approve settlement of workers' comp claim 565858 with employee 28289. Thank you. You can close the meeting.
All right, thank you. And so this meeting is adjourned until our next business meeting, which is April, just doesn't have it.
You can just report out the strategy session.
Yeah, our next meeting will be the board strategy session, which we will convene on March 24th at 4 p.m. at the San Bernardino Community College District Boardroom, 555 East Hospitality Lane, Suite 200 in San Bernardino. We are adjourned.
All right, good night. See y'all later.